right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in, Charlie. How are you today? Charlie's having a good day. Is there a day when Charlie doesn't have a good day? Yeah, when I go to the vet. It's still a good day. All right. Let's see where we're going this morning. I did a reading yesterday about Mars in retrograde and what's going to happen when it goes direct. And I talked quite a bit about how we are going to be processing that energy. So if you want to check out that reading, I'm going to put a link right here. One of the things I did say that I want to share with you is that part of Mars going direct is going to be us processing old emotion and things done out of fear or domination or control or the desire to make our will, like sort of uh, force our will on somebody. That is not going to work. If you want to start something that's based in love and you have done the work around that, there's no reason that needs to be undone, because I just feel like that's the lesson of this Mars in retrograde in Cancer. So anyway, just wanted to let you know that that came through that reading. What wants to show up today? Charlie's in the house. All right, let's see where we are going. New chairs. They're not as pink as I like them, but I think they're okay. They're okay. All right, choosing your path. All is possible. I am going to take this great adventure. I am feeling that. Take a risk, venture forward. That's coming up. Distant thunder, clear the air. Oh, yeah. Anything that you've been holding back or any way you've been hurting yourself, meaning holding things inside till they become toxic, it's time to let that out. All right. It's time to share that. Wise leader. I love this. You're a beacon for others and success expands in your life. Something really shifting in a big way. Sorry, Charlie. I'm going to reach right over you and get the golden tarot. Something that you are working to transmute. So something coming from the dark energy, and you're processing emotion, and that turns it into light. So anything that right now that you might be afraid of, or you might have fear around. I've been reading a lot about the witch wound. That's something that you might be interested in looking at. If you're having fear around your gifts, being persecuted for your gifts, that might be something to take a look at. There's a good book that I want to recommend to you, and I don't think I'll let's see. I think I can get it right now. A good book that I want to recommend to you that I have been looking at. Where am I looking at it? In Audible. And Heal the Witch Wound by Celeste Larsen, Larsen. I don't know her, but it's a very good book. The first part of it's pretty hard to listen to because it's about the history of the burning times in Europe and then what happened in America, and about the biggest wound it is wounds between women, because most of those people, even though it was like 10% of the people who were burned were men, but most of the people burned were women, especially older women who had some kind of financial power, had some kind of land, had, they were a threat. Okay, they were a threat. Like, but if you're feeling that your gifts are going to, like, this is one of the roots of fear of being seen with a spiritual gift. It's like a witch wound, that you have some kind of past life connection to being persecuted. And what I was going to say is that a lot of the issue with women, not as a tribe, women not sort of standing up for each other, things like that, comes from this, because women turned other women in. Right. So 8 of Cups, 9 of Cups. This is about us healing this witch wound right now. And also the this feeling of impending doom, like that's something that is, whatever you're feeling right now, whatever is coming up for you, especially anything that's challenging or kind of, the shadow side. The shadow side of ascension is coming up for a lot of people. So whenever in readings, whenever, we're talking about something negative or whatever, this is the shadow side of ascension. That's all that is. It's not like to be feared. It's something to be worked with. 8 of Cups, 9 of Cups, 6 of Cups, the Strength card, and the Page of Swords. Oh, look at this. And the Page of Wands and the King of Wands. Look at the Page of Cups. Lots of pages coming up. This is all inner child stuff. Okay. 9 of Cups with that baby. The 6 of Cups. It's about healing one's heart from childhood is going to allow love to come in. And I feel like this is about adventure. This is about messages, or your strength being your gifts, attracting in someone who is empowered and not negative, right? Like if you feel like those negative things coming through you, or you're watching any readings that you feel have negative energy in them, what they're the spiritual lesson in that, because there can be a lot of, I've seen this with a lot of astrologers who are a lot of doom and gloom about the current astrology. And I totally get that, right? You can see it, but it's sort of like, it's necessary. It's necessary for our lessons right now. It's necessary for us to see the shadow in ourselves, because only through having that become conscious can we elevate our consciousness. We can't elevate our consciousness if we're like, yep, we're all healed, we're good, there's nothing to see here, I don't have any issues in this way, whatever. And maybe your friends are kind of like, well, really? Because there might be something like that happening where you feel like certain parts of your life may be unassailable, or if you sort of embrace or reach for perfectionism, especially. Perfectionism is a shadow side of Virgo energy, and Virgo is in the South Node right now. And so I feel like there's a sense of not wanting to look at ourselves, and I'm including myself in this, and this is like a collective thing, us not wanting to look at ourselves, or because we feel like if we say, well, this isn't a great thing about me, or this is a shadow thing about me, then we're negatively talking to ourselves. And that's not the same thing as having a harsh inner critic, because it's how it's handled. If you're looking at yourself and saying, damn, I really feel like I don't have a good handle on boundaries, or I can't speak up for myself, or something like that, instead of going right into, sort of punishing yourself for that, what you can do, and I was, when I was talking about the wounded father, the father wound energy, the healed father is the energy that says, okay, this is how you do it. Now it's your turn, and lets you make mistakes and lets you do goofy things, and kind of just is like a comforting guide. It's not the energy of rub some dirt on it, I don't care about how you feel, I'll give you something to cry about. It's not that energy. That is wounded masculine energy. And the sort of healed father energy is someone who's in your corner, who does hold you to account, okay, but in a, okay, now that didn't work out, so how are we going to fix this? How are we going to work on this? How are we going to look at ourselves? Accountability, giving yourself some accountability. And and then there's the flip side of like looking at father energy and being like, nope, my father was perfect. Nothing wrong with my father. My father was perfect. If you're super defensive about that, and you have these issues, okay, I'm not saying that nobody can have a good father, because lots of people have good fathers. But if you have issues with relationships, with money, with things of the lower 3 chakras, if you have issues with these things, that might be something to look at. Just consider it, okay? There's something here about healing healing the heart from disappointment from an absent father, from a neglectful father, healing the heart of that and releasing that, bringing forgiveness. I'm doing this reading. I know this is for the 13th, but I'm doing this reading on the 12th. This is the 44th anniversary of my father's death. It's coming up loud for me. It's coming up in the readings. Two of Pentacles, Queen of Swords, World. That World card keeps coming up. That's a portal to a new beginning. Seven of Cups, moving away from confusion or apathy. Oof, apathy. There was a very good little, I don't know what this was. It was I don't know if it's part of a movie or a show or something, but this mother and son witnessed a woman kind of getting abused by her partner in a grocery store. I don't know where I saw this. It just came across TikTok or something. And the mother said to the son, don't do anything. You'll make it worse, or something like that. And they were home later and they were sitting there talking. And he said, why didn't you do anything, Mom? And she said, well, there's nothing I could do. I don't want to create violence. And the young man, he was probably like 13 or 14. And he said, violence isn't the worst thing. And she said, really? What is? And he said, apathy. Oof. And it's like, sometimes there needs to be a standing up, even if it's going to create some kind of friction or rage. That's very much Mars energy. We are going to have Mars opposite Pluto. Sometimes there's a need to stand up for things. And apathy is the enemy here. So Seven of Cups, the Fool and the World together, and then Justice. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Ace of Swords. Wow. Ace of Swords, Queen of Swords, King of Pentacles, Hierophant, speaking truth to power. I saw this in the Mars energy reading too. And there is something about that story that, like, apathy, doing nothing, expecting a different result, doing nothing, not the same thing over and over again, doing nothing. And this is about speaking truth. Queen of Swords. This is about saying it like it is. Clearing away confusion and obfuscation. And this isn't really lies. It's just like when people believe things that are ostensibly or on its face not true, but they believe it because they want to believe it, or they believe it because that's what makes them feel comfortable. It aligns with some inner belief. And then the calling out of that inner belief, or just say it then. Just say it. If you believe this and, it's patently not true, or it's provably false or something like that, and you can, but I just believe it because I believe it, because that's what I want to believe, because it aligns with my worldview, and don't screw with my worldview, like kind of thing like that. Like, that's the thing that will be called out and brought to justice, brought to heal, because there are facts. And it's not like you have a different set of facts. Those are beliefs. And sometimes we get caught up short when we believe something and it's really harming us. We believe something because we want to believe it's true, like about a person. Let's just say, let's go back to the father thing. Like, you want to believe that your father is somebody kind and loving and generous, but all of the evidence just says that's not really true. This person's kind of a mean son of a bitch. And like, it's purposeful, because then you can have empathy for that. Like, what got them to that place? How did they get there? And, nobody is put on this planet. We do bring things in from past life, but they get activated by this life's energy. And I just feel like there's something here about not wanting to see something, and the embracing of the truth of it is just this beautiful, like, release. It's like, oh, thank God. I really have been separating myself from other people because I believed something that really isn't true. But my ego, it's ego. My ego wanted it to be true. Or my ego says, if this is true, then somehow I'm, master of the universe, or somehow that makes me more powerful. And it's kind of like, well, that's a belief. But if it's harming another person and it's not a real thing, then we got to talk about it, because it's something that, if we are doing damage or harm to other people, I give permission to call that out every single day, right? Like, call it out. You're doing damage to other people in the pursuit of you protecting your own ego. I feel like that's what's going on with somebody, maybe a King of Pentacles, Hierophant, someone in power. And this doesn't have to be like, power in the world, but this can be like in your own personal life. Someone who has power and is controlling the situation and being very domineering and controlling as a way of keeping their ego safe. Because somehow if you have power, that means they're not powerful. But like, this is again like the thing about like, just make more pie. Like, just because I'm powerful doesn't diminish your power in the slightest. Like, you can be powerful too. Why is it only one person that gets to be powerful? And usually that's because of someone who has a weak sense of their own power, because it does threaten them to have other people have power. And that's when we go back to that, the witch wound and things, it threatened the men of the time to think that women would have power. And so that's why, well, that's one of the reasons that would happen. Okay. So, talk to me more about the Seven of Cups here. This is the confusion, or this is the belief systems that are like trying to be made into facts. Nine of Wands, Six of Wands, there's ego, Ace of Wands, and the King of Swords. So King and Queen of Swords, like, we're seeing a new reality, and we're letting go. All of us on some level are letting go of a belief system that we have that is keeping someone else down or keeping someone else powerless. And there's this new way of being that I can have power and so can you. This new idea or this new thought process, this new way of being, the Fool, the Ace of Wands coming through that says, an Ace of Swords, like, I'm empowered, or because I have healed this heart energy. So it doesn't threaten me that other people have power, because I want other people to have power. I feel like other people having power, it's almost like this is what the collective is healing right now. That when each individual has their own brand of power, it really collectively rises the boats. That is Aquarius. All boats rise. Okay. All boats rise. Aquarius is not about one central power or one person in the family having power and nobody else having power. It's not that. So you may see that a different kind of relationship comes in for you that has been healed, that both people are healed and able to allow the masculine to have their feminine side, allows the feminine to have their masculine side, allows for a sharing of resources, and allows for a give and take, allows for good communication. Like, just because I'm bringing up, if you have a hard time communicate, I said this the other day, because we have Ace of Swords here, I'm going to say it again. If you have a hard time communicating with someone who is in power, it's because they're threatened of your power. Not because they themselves are just like so sure of their dominance. It's that they're so weak that the slightest truth is going to blow them over. And that is true. That is true. That, bullies and everything are the biggest cowards on the planet, the most fragile egos on the planet. Okay, so this Ace of Swords coming in. Just like all bullies, Mary, you're a coward. Knight of Wands, that's in Downton Abbey. Queen of Wands, the devil energy, and the Knight of Cups. So somehow by healing this energy, it's like you see through the bully and the control and the awful exterior, the crusty, disgusting external visage, right? You see through that, which is, hey, I'm going to go for it. That's the devil card. And you see through that to another part of this person that is afraid of their loss of their own power. And then there's empathy for that. It doesn't mean that this person is going to take it, because essentially what you're doing is you're more threatening to them now because you're like seeing through them. It's like they love it when you're afraid of them, or when you're cowering in fear. But when you stand up to the bully and you're like, oh, you're just so sad. Like there's something going on inside you that's really sad. Then they're like terrified of you, okay? Because you're seeing through the visage. And I feel like when you do that, there's something about breaking through not wanting to see other people, or maybe you're somebody who blows off red flags in other people, because if you were to call them out or say them, it's basically hearkening back to this bully thing, that they would become so threatened. If you, and I don't think I finished my thought up here, but like, if you can't have a conversation with somebody because you know it's going to drive you further apart, that's an issue. Okay. Because communication, when we're sharing how we feel, we're sharing our thoughts and our feelings and our joys and our sadness and our weakness and our hopes and dreams. When we're having those conversations, that's very vulnerable. And if someone else takes that information and like sticks you with it, you're going to go further apart from this person. That's why there's certain relationships that aren't good, because there's no vulnerability to them, or it's in passing, or when it threatens this person, then that's it. Like, you're dead to me kind of a thing. So there's something here about really healing that for yourself. And that allows for you to have people come in and you go, oh, that's a red flag. Bye. And not second guess yourself. Just be like, you know what? And it can be like, for a while, you can be like a bull in a china shop. Okay. Because like, you've got this newfound power that you're now able to see everybody's red flags. Because there isn't a person on this planet that doesn't have some kind of like flaw. Of course, we're all flawed. We all have our issues. But then you kind of balance yourself, right? The Justice card, I'm not seeing it, but I feel it here. No, it's right here. Justice card on the new path, where you kind of balance it, where you're not afraid of speaking your truth all the time. What you are doing is you're learning to communicate in a way that if someone pulls away from you because you speak your truth, then it's like, that can't be helped. That's a them issue. That's not a you issue. Okay. So one more thing. I want to look at this Fool Justice, what I just said. Temperance. I love you, Archangel Michael. You're protected here. Ace of Pentacles. Sun. Wow. Six of Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles. This is the new consciousness, the new level of consciousness that you're stepping into. A new level of consciousness that is breaking through all of these boundaries. I really feel this being deeply healed for the collective right now. And that's going to bring in lots of experiences. You're not going to cordon yourself off from relationship, because you'll be reliably able to spot red flags and call them out. You'll be able to have conversations that are meaningful. If it doesn't go so well with the person who is this Devil card, or this King of Pentacles, or this Hierophant, if it doesn't go so well with them, I want you to kind of recognize that that's a win too. You're never losing when you're authentic and vulnerable and aligned. And you feel protected doing it. You're never going to lose. People who leave your life, fine. Fine. This is a new level of consciousness. All right. So let's keep going with this choose your path, great adventure thing. I'm going to look at the blocks. I'm going to look at what you don't see coming. Let's look at the next 30 days. I might talk a little bit about that father wound, the Mars energy that I talked about yesterday, and we'll see where we go. All right. Link is below if you want to continue on. Pathfinders, let's just keep going. All right. I hope you enjoyed that video. If it was helpful to you, please consider liking this video and sharing it with anybody who might have a need for similar kind of information. And if you like this video, check out these videos.